Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're about to begin. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay, okay? Let's see some. You guys can hear me okay? CPI day. Thank you for tuning in. Just a second. Might go over CPI. See what coming up. Waiting like this. There we go. Ooh, we came in below forecast. Okay. You might get that rate cut. Not really. Eventually. Yo, sidebar. This is completely unrelated. But has anybody been seeing them like trade talks? They're talking about LeBron going to the Cavs. I mean, going to the Mavericks. It's like, bro, I don't feel like this man should do this again. Let's see some more information. Go Twitter or X or whatever. Let's see. Here, let's see this. Um, Y'all see that? It was like CPI came in point 0.2 month over month with an estimate of point 0.3. Price rose year over year 2.7 year over year, estimate 2.7. So that came in line. We kind of mistook it as 2.7, 2.9 range for a little while, for the year over year. The consumer prices rise zero point 0.3 month over month. It came in line. CPI rise to 0.9 here. It came in about zero point 0.1, a little bit lower than expected as far as like the rises year over year. This is good. This is good. We already were in a very like bullish market, and the only thing that we're kind of looking for right now is like a continuation of that. So this pretty much aligns exactly with what's going on. I'm kind of see what some people are saying. just to like. I mean, we know this is bullish, but just a lot of times there can be like some news that follows up like right after that people tune into. Oh yeah, so it did go up a little bit. All right, bro, y'all going crazy right now. Oh, I gotta play this song. So fire the scientists. Let's see. All right, bro. I'll go back to the charts. Let's go to this fire. What I'm gonna do first though, can I tell you guys? So, I'm gonna let you guys see this. This is my Discord. It's free. But I basically built this assistant that like oh shit, let me turn it up. I basically built this assistant to help like with my trading, basically make me kind of get some clarity, and see what's going on. Someone like we call it coaching notes. But basically what I'm gonna do is I ask it kind of like for some insight, kind of see what's going on in the market, with the checkout. And like it still has some bugs in it, but I'm making dropping the second version soon. It's a lot better. I'm like, what are some interesting stocks today? Let's see what it says. Let me ask what it. Where's some interesting stocks today, buddy? Make sure my boy waking up. So then we can go to the spy. Use a daily. Man, we already at 627 pre-market. I've been tracking these 630 calls for July 31st. This if we're not past that today, I don't know what to tell you. Let see if I find it. Shoot. All right. So yeah, so basically, we've kind of been on a tear in the market. We've been on a tear in the market. We kind of came back here, kind of pulled back a little bit, but we're still pretty much like very bullish. What I was just looking for, all we even had to do to break to the upside today was break above 625, and we're already at 627. Second. But so after we broke that, so this is on the weekly time frame. What we were looking for, we finished off with the like a one like an inside day, so we basically were consolidating, and we basically had to just break out of this 626.87 to trigger the week up again, and we're in the clear for like all time highs. I mean, for new all time highs again. We don't really have any like type of resistance until we kind of hit the top of this trend line, which is here. But this kind of lines up with us touching like honestly like 670. Of course, we're gonna probably pull back along the way, but as of now, there's no really like clear resistance for it because we're just breaking to all time highs. So I could see us touching like the 630 level. There's just a nice little psychological level. 630, possibly going higher than that, honestly, because with inflation cooling down more and more, the government is more likely to just know what's going on. Total rage. Morning, good morning. But we basically hit the 630 level, and then of course started talking like 633, 635. One thing about SPY that we, if you like continuously trading, that it'll move in about $3 to $5 increments. So there's always something to kind of keep aware of, just because it makes it a lot easier. Even if you're not looking at a chart, you'll know that they like to go to about $3 to $5 increments, and it typically lines up with numbers like 600, 610, well 600, 605, 610, and that's pretty much what happens. And then even if it pulls back, like I can just even name off the top of my head, if we're gonna pull back, let's say if we were at 610, and I was like $3 to $5 increments, the first thing I would target would be like 607. And like I'm just saying this now. So let's go and look at the chart and kind of see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna go back to when we were at 610. See right here, we actually have like no, you guys can see this, okay? But I'm over here marking out this level, which like you see, we basically end up touching this area, have some resistance before we break back above, and this kind of lines up with like a resistance level right here, even all the way back to January. This is right at 605. Let me go down to a small time frame. Yeah, it's pretty much at 605, and then another one. We go all the way back here. You mark out like another high that we have. It's like right at 610. These are all like just psychological levels. Of course, there's like smaller ones, but it's like it's showing that this is really just a supply zone, or where like we basically face resistance at and we're trying to fall out at. But right now, everything with SPY is just it's bullish right now. Like there's really nothing else you can do with it except like go along with it, and then don't chase though. I'd highly recommend not doing that. What I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna do a little projection and kind of see what's what. So I'm gonna use my Fibonacci extension tool. Let's see. I said that could be perfect, but you get a good idea. I like to make it as close as possible to what it'll actually be. So as after I did my Fibonacci extension, kind of get a better idea where we're headed to. And see, like right now, it kind of lines up with some areas of like resistance we've seen before. Like right here, it's like around like 592, 592, 595. You can see it kind of lines up right here at this like this former resistance zone, also now support zone, lines up right here pretty well. I did it on the weekly time frame just to get a further outlook. Um, we were broke through like it's set around 614, 634, but that's really like 615. So now we're kind of in the middle of this area around 630. So it's showing that like our next major target is around like 645. And July typically is our best month. I don't necessarily, let me see how much we moved so far. The 645, I thought it's a little stretch for just for this month. Let me see. So we opened July at like 616. I'm gonna pull up my other chart, see what the ATR is. If you don't know what the ATR is, basically the average true range. Yeah, let me show you this real quick. You see that? It's like ATR. It basically the average true range. It kind of gives you an idea of like how much we can move in that certain time frame. It's at 41. So 41. So it basically moves like about $40, $41 in that time frame. What I like to do though, when I'm considering like a direction that it's gonna go in, I just try to take into account about like 80% of that move going into the direction I actually wanted to go in, essentially, that I'm planning for. So let's say like 80% of like 40. All right. So with that, let's just say around 30, right? We've already moved about $16 so far from the first. So that's, oh, actually 645 would be right. So we started at 616 on a month. That's assuming like no pullbacks or whatnot. But yeah, we started out like we opened at 616.35, and so if we move about $30, that would put us right at 645. Huh. I mean, that's funny. I can see that, but I would just say definitely just don't chase and be aware of potential pullbacks. But definitely by the end of July, that's more than possible. I forgot to show you guys. I'll show you what Coach Nick said. I can see that. So I basically asked it, and I was like, "What are some interesting stocks for today?" And right now, it basically can check like options flow, news, all sorts of stuff like that. And so it was like, because there's no like dominant flow observed in today and SPY. I mean, the market's not open, so it only has a certain amount of data they can look at. But it was also talking about like Nvidia and IWM getting significant premium, indicating potential institutional positioning. Um, and then I started talking about SPY and where to look for it at, and it basically talked about where it was at, like around 623, 624 area. But of course, it was like from yesterday, and it was like the market remains in a broad rally, everything rallied, tech dividends, yada yada yada. Focus on discipline. Today's range bound SPY, patient entries that break out for test zones. So the trade come to you, not the other way around. So it just gives you some feedback. Just kind of like put you in like a little quick mindset. So this, I bet this is a little tool I built just to kind of simplify my trading to help me look what I need to look at. But we're already at 627. CPI came in lower. 630 is my target for today, potentially higher, say about 632. I'm gonna go look at Tesla. This one, I feel like me and Tesla got like a love hate relationship right now. I think with Tesla is Tesla's should honestly be on like the 5 or 600s right now. It's just for everything in Elon. Let me pull this back. This is on like the monthly time frame. And basically, this is something I drew yesterday. Oh, hold on, turn my indicators off. All right. So basically, what we have here, let me draw this again. Just on the monthly, so I always start out bigger and I kind of work my way back in. We kind of bounce off this previous trend line. We're back at the same area, but now you see that we have this where we're basically consolidating. We had a failed two down, which basically like we tried to pull down, but we just kind of came back inside and just started consolidating. This is the same thing happening now. What I'm looking for Tesla is like we're either gonna break up aggressively and start targeting towards like 300, 350, 360, or we're gonna start to break down and then we'll start targeting more like 285, 260, things of that sort. Then we'll go down to like the smaller time frames. Um, the thing with Tesla, I feel like what's gonna be the catalyst. No, oh shit. The only thing that's been hurting Tesla right now is honestly been Elon. Elon, aside from like the economy and what's been going on as far as like interest rates, there's been Elon kind of getting a little too involved with politics. Um, but we go down here, we see that we've been consolidating along this line, which is as we build up more strength, like consolidating, you build more of a support. The only downside of this is that all this movement has looked pretty bearish. Like as we try to revisit, like you see, we came up this way. I'm gonna drop halfway. We're like solid along this line. We come about right here, reject, come back down. We come back up here, reject, but now it's a lower high. Come back down. We're still consolidating this area. But if you look at these candles, and really like this, you look at these candles, they're bearish. Like you see all this red. When I'm using the strat, I basically classify these candles based off like the price action. And a lot of them are just like it's consolidating or it's just showing that it's making another low, at least like relatively. And this is like within the week. Um, the fact that we're like tightening up this consolidation, like we're just getting tighter, it's showing that we're near a breakout. It's either gonna be a breakout or a breakdown. So what I do then, I'm going down to my daily. Excuse me. Sorry. I need some coffee. Keep making me burp. I'm gonna go down to my daily right here. Hold on, let me fix this. And we pretty much been tapping out around like 320. I guess 318, 320 level, which actually used to be a former support, but it's a level we kind of struggled at before. We see kind of consolidated along this line before breaking back down a few times. So what I'm really looking for, like we're up to 318.74 pre-market, but we've reached around this 320 level and started to reject some. So what I really need to see is just a full-on break past this 320 before I will honestly get into anything with Tesla. As far as price, I'm saying 320 for here for the daily. Above 322.60 is what'll trigger for like calls on the daily with Tesla today, and that will lead us to more of a continuation of above 322. You can start targeting 326. Let me see. Target 325 after that, and then you can start targeting. Go to this previous highs around 330. So yeah, about let's say about $5 move. And look at the ATR for Tesla. So the ATR on Tesla is about $11 a day. Let me see it here. It's about 11. Let's say if it's about like an $8 move each day. You said Tesla's 99% an AI company. They're trying. They did really well with the new release of like Grok that came out. Like it's pretty. People have been saying it's been pretty accurate. I'm actually want to test it out and see because I use a lot of different LLMs. I just want to see how it works. And then they put the like the Grok like the assistant in like the Teslas. They're upgrading it inside of the Teslas and they're putting it in Optimus. And they also released some new news about some data centers that they're building. It's gonna be pretty big. But like I don't know. I believe in Tesla. I just if Elon is focused, Tesla's gonna go crazy. Like between Tesla and Meta, like those are two that you can't really go wrong as far as like what they're gonna do as far as the future. I mean, Elon has been stealing all the top scientists. Can I go over 212 charting pattern? Yeah. If you guys don't know what that is, that essentially like refers to like the trading method I use called a strat. It's created by this guy named Rob Smith. But basically, what he does is he focuses on price action to determine, um, like basically where he gets into his trades at. And just kind of really focus on price action and like trend lines. One second, let me find so I can find a good setup for you. Mm-hmm. And so when you're trading a strat, there's typically like a few patterns are that you can basically pay attention to that are relatively strong that will help you identify stuff to get into essentially. I think it's a past one. Oh yeah, here we go. All right. You figured good. This is not great, but it shows. Let me check this out. All right. Just so you guys know, this is what I'm looking at right here. Trying to make this transparent. Anyway, okay. So a 2-on-2 pattern is basically it's like a you follow with a two. You have a two candle, which basically means that price moved in a direction, and then for this case, price moved down. So it's considered a two. You can have a two up or two down, and for this one, this is a two down. Shit, hold on. Sorry, guys. My guys on TikTok, which means we basically broke the low from this previous candle, and we moved down. And with that, that just shows, we move down, whatever. We target the previous low, which is right here. But then we have a one that follows up. And all a one is telling you is that we stayed on the inside of the high and low of the previous candle, which often means that this is like consolidation. This is showing like indecision in the time of the market. So we'll follow this. So bigger. What'll follow this when you have another two that follows? It means that we break either the downside or the upside, which could be like that could be a reversal. So if we broke above like the high of this one candle, we will start a reversal and we'll be heading up this direction. Then we'll start targeting the previous highs. Um, with this one, we had a 2-1-2 down. So essentially, I'm gonna mark this out so you guys can see better. Make this white. Mm, okay. So it shows we came right here, basically consolidated, and then we broke down past the previous low, went further down. And this is a classic pattern, and a classic pattern in a strat. It's pretty simple, I would say overall, but it's more so just about recognizing it when you see it and knowing that's what you're looking at. Um, oh, sorry, I didn't see your question. Using the daily, the 4 hour, 30 minutes, using the strat method. You can use all time frames for the strat. I typically like to start with the daily. If I'm day trading, the daily or the 4 hour, because those give you better ideas of like trend. So when you're doing the 4 hour, for instance, you're looking at that's basically like that's half the day for the trading day. So you already have a trend of like what's going on for most of the day, and you can also see that setup for what will happen potentially for the next part of the day. So let's say we had like this 2-1 setup on the 4 hour time frame, and let's say like the previous like 4 hour candle was like two, and the first half of the day was like indecision essentially, right? Well, if we start to see the break of like the high or the low of like this indecision candle, like after it closes, that'll give us an idea of like, all right, is this day turning bullish or is it turning bearish even further? But I like to stick with like the day or the 4 hour just to kind of keep have a clear trend and I have time to kind of let things play out and like let it run. When you go down to smaller time frames, you can do that, but that's when you start to get towards like scalping or being like quickly in and out. You don't want to like overstay your welcome with that. Of course, on the smaller time frames, it's more volatile, so you're gonna face more of like those whiplashes. But you can use a strat on any time frame, honestly. Like even on the monthly, like I was, oh, where'd I go? Oh, here we go. I can even go all the way out here to the monthly and kind of see what type of price action has been happening with Tesla up until then. That's pretty much what I've been saying about right here, and we kind of see that we're on this trend line, and we're still like inside consolidating, which basically just lets me know we're just building up pressure. We haven't made a decision yet. You go check out Nvidia. What was I turning up on this? Boy, Nvidia is 170. Ooh. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't even follow up with what Coach Smith was saying. He peaked it. It was like this strong flow in Nvidia IWN. All right, this is still on the monthly time frame. Oh yeah, that's what I was doing here. So I could see Nvidia. We've been like in this channel for a good while. This goes back. This on the monthly. So I'm going to go back to the 3 months. Yeah, Nvidia's run is crazy. All right, let's go back down. All right, so we already triggered the month even higher. I'm going on to the weekly. I put these trend lines, just kind of see where I can see us like kind of topping out at, and just get an idea. But right now, all right, we're like 171. Going to daily. As long as we hold above like 170 right now, we're gonna keep running. I like they must have some catalysts coming up. Oh, I remember. I remember. Let me see. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Nvidia got like the all clear to go back to selling chips to China. If I'm not mistaken, like AMD too. They just like they have like the all clear to get the license to sell these chips back to China. I think previously all they had to they were having to make sure they didn't sell them like the same type of chips that they're selling over here because like the whole AI race and they don't America don't, of course don't want them catching up to us or beating us. Let's see. All right, here we go. Yeah, the surge to record high 170 overnight after announcing the H20 chip sales to China will resume. Yeah, because they had paused that for a while, and it was like they have a fully compliant GPU for China. So yeah, they pretty much just adapted to like not give away some of the inform not some of the technology that government doesn't want them to give away. But what this means is just like them China sales can ramp back up, and as everybody's pushing for AI, as everybody's pushing it for AI, it's just they just got the game on live. There's nowhere else to put that, honestly. Trump officials preparing to release an AI action plan this month. I saw that they were announcing a $70 billion investment plan in Pennsylvania the other day. Oh yeah, it's AI Day. AI President trying to release AI action plan in speech on July 23rd. Keep that on your calendars. AI stocks just be going crazy. Any Nvidia is like a huge AI play, but like other plays that you can pay attention to that I like a lot. Let me guys this one real quick before I go to the next one. Here, so for Nvidia, I mean we're already up pre-market. We already gapped up. So when you gap up like this, the main thing you need to look for is I go to the 15 minute. You can do this with a 30 minute too. And then I wait for that first 15 minutes to happen in the market. So around like 9:45, I mark out that high and then I mark out that low of like that first 15-minute candle. And when I start to kind of see a break of that for the higher low, that's when I decide to get in. Honestly, I still turn to like I turn to my Coach Next system and I'll ask it questions about like what's what, just because it gets like a lot of the option flow and it can track that. So I'll just pay attention to that. Like I'll look at it. Of course, what I'm seeing on my chart, the price action side. Then of course we got the news and everything like that. But I'll ask Coach Next kind of like if there's any relevant news, and then also just to see what people are buying because it tracks a lot of like the institutional buying, the option flow, all that stuff. But another thing that's been happening like the AI race is quantum computing, and so that's why I've been liking this one stock, IonQ. They're like one of the leaders in the quantum computing space. It's still pretty early, and what they have, like with quantum computing, essentially like let me like explain this. When we have computers and we're like basically trying to send data and like process information, it has to get from like one place to the other, and we've made that faster. Of course, like the type of like cables have changed and like just technology has improved. But with quantum computing, they essentially made a well, it's a natural current phenomenon, but they basically figured out a way to basically these two different points of data can exist at the same time. So basically, the information typically like transfers almost like instantaneously, and because it technically like exists in like 2 points at the same time in so many ways. I'm just like a rough. I didn't explain that the greatest, but that's basically like the rough idea of it. Which ideally, of course, that makes computing a lot faster, and you can handle a lot of different type of like equations with that. And as we just basically we're basically building stronger computers each and every day. So that's why like these quantum computing stocks have just been going crazy. This is on the weekly. So yeah, we kind of have like a it's like a cup and handle. Let me see. It's kind of like a cup and handle. Tell me what you guys think. Mhm. Let's see. Let's see if I'm right. If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember this off the top of my head, but a cup and handle. I'm pretty sure you measure like the price from like the bottom of like the handle to like the bottom of here for like your distance. What you measure it from? I don't think I traded that pattern in a little while. Here we go. Go right here. How about that? Put the upside down. Let me fix that. It's about 18. Because it does have this cup and handle, and it's kind of fun. Its resistance, it's around 49, around 50. That puts us right back at like almost like $99, about $100. That's if this is this pattern. Either way, it's still pretty bullish, and it's on the weekly time frame, so this definitely could take some time. Wow, I think Q goes $100. That'd be crazy. I remember I originally bought it on NQ like it was like $27, and it rolled up, and then I started to. I think I sold some of it because it pulled back like crazy. I don't have that much INQ no more, but what I'll be watching here for them is like, of course, they're gonna be up because of like the news. What about 42.68 pre-market? So we haven't triggered like the reversal yet. But basically, if we trigger this high up, we can start triggering like a reversal, and then of course we'll start to test, go back to test $45. That could be easy play, honestly. It's like above 42.72 with trigger calls. Let's see. They have decent open interest at like the 45 and the $42. Let's see. So like $44, they have about 17,000 open interest. 45, they have about 8,600, and they're pretty cheap. So that's on the non basis too. Watching INQ above 42.72 and testing it. And price target is about $45. If we start to break above $45, or really, for me, I would say above 48. Because you see, we kind of get to this area and we start to tap out. And you see right here, we get to this area, we get to about 48, $49, close to 50. And just like we break down, same thing right here. We get to this area, start to break down. And showing that we're about to like retest this area, if we stay bullish, get to about 45 safely. But once we start to get to like the bottom of the supply zone, the channel starts around like 46. Yeah, around 46. That's when we started to break down. I think the market about to open. Let me see what we open up like. I'm gonna go back to SPY. And go down to this 15-minute time frame. That's one thing I do not like. When you like change between like time frames, it always like gets so small. So yeah, we definitely got the. We still pushing. I might go check out. I'm not gonna enter anything yet. So yeah, here you go. This is a perfect example. I was talking about. When I was talking about IonQ. We just triggered the day of, and it's doing it's 2-2 reversal. Oh, I'm looking at the daily time frame right now. So yeah, if you want to hop at IonQ, this is not financial advice whatsoever. But if you want to hop at IonQ, this could be a decent entry. I'll just wait for, like I said, I wait for those first 15 minutes to play out. And I'm gonna go down because I want to be sure my breakouts are reversals. So now I'm down like on a 30-minute time frame. But yeah, it broke past that 42.72. It's facing a little resistance right now. You see how perfect that lines up? This is like our same line we drew earlier. We're like, we resisted. Now we're here, right here. We broke above before, but now it's kind of fighting this level right now. And this is why with them first 15 minutes, it very well still like, it still just needs time to like play out. But oh damn, it was like shot up to 42.90. Yeah, I don't keep want to push. Yeah, a little bit of resistance at 43. Nothing crazy. Here, you know what I didn't look at is where is it at? Y'all been watching Bitcoin? Oh yeah, this is the 4 hour time frame. After that push 123,000, boy, I was excited. But we pulled back some, which is like that wasn't nothing. Honestly, we went back to like 116K, and now we're hitting this reversal right now. Ironically, this is a 212. It's like a reversal. You gotta see that. Missy moved down, consolidated, and now we're popping back up. And then you see like you were actually playing this and you got in on the entry. Um, After like your first price target, if you broke above right here, this consolidation level, let me see, a bit bigger. Yeah, so you would have entered off 117, 182. This is if you're trading Bitcoin, and your price target would have been this previous high, so like up here. And so it would have been 117.76. It's about like a $600-700 move. But now that it's like breaking even higher, you can start targeting like the next like level of resistance or the next high. Which really is around 118, $800. You know, SPY. So it's SPY, we pretty much just like kind of pull back in some, but it's just consolidating now. And we start to really break down. We can feel this gap down to 625. So look like we might do. But mind you, I told you we still pretty early. It's only been 5 minutes. And if we keep coming back inside, I'll see us touching like 625 just for support. Especially lines back up with like this previous resistance area. You see like the top of this basically is a new support right here. But this is the 15-minute time frame. So I'm not gonna touch nothing yet. Man, I feel like Stephanie. I like stayed out all night. I like took my fiance to go see Beyonce. I didn't even go, and feel like I don't went to the concert. She driving in that traffic and staying out all night. Let me go. Oh, this was trying to check out Meta. Ooh, let me see how my boy AMD doing. Actually, boy, AMD 156. If you've been following me for a minute, you know what I've been saying about AMD. Had this chance to come back alive. Oh yeah. So yeah, AMD, we've been in this downtrend where it's like descending channel really, and then it broke out, and I played it for a little while up to like about to 130, whatever. But like if you got time, this thing is going to 170, really probably 175. But it's like clear blue skies right now. This is the next resistance level. It's like what 160, 165. This on the weekly time frame. Like AMD has a pretty easy track right now. Yeah, this is a monthly time frame. You kind of can see a little bit more. resistance. I went ahead and drew the supply zone. You see, we topped out around this area before, and then also when you see these other months, you see these are areas where we got to kind of we got down here, try to test the top of this supply zone, rejected not right here once, twice, and so forth. A little bit right here as well. This keeps me like cognizant of what's happening. Yeah, AMD's playing no game. It's like up almost 8%, 7.8%. I'm gonna go to Meta. That boy Biggs is up. Oh, they pulling back. Oh, that's not nothing. Okay. There's one thing. Looks like we're holding some type of support right now, but right here, this is like the supply zone. That's kind of talking to you guys about. But we can end up hitting like a double top here, and so like we went into this top before back in February, and this is around like 740, and started reject all the way back down. We're right back in the same zone, but we're consolidating, which is a little bit better sign because it's showing that we have like a little bit of strength. Yeah. If we break below like this low, like this little support that they have right here, and that's when we'll start rejecting pretty badly. Let me see. Feels like it's finding support around like 712 to 715, like that type of zone. What I'll be looking for here is that we're consolidating. It's pretty much all this is happening right here. And we start to see, what was it weekly actually? Yeah, this is still kind of bearish. Because right here, even though we have a two up, it's a failed two up, which means that like it tried to go up and then it kind of came back inside. It's a failed two up, so like price pretty much rejected a little bit. And then right here, we have a two down. It's like a very bearish doji, and then like this one, you see we're hitting this like supply zone where we're rejecting, even though we're still inside consolidating. So for this, I'll watch for the break of this previous low, which is 709.70, right? So with Meta, if we start breaking below 709.70, that's when I start targeting around probably 680 on this. So it's like we start to break down, start targeting down here. Of course, I look for support at like 700 too. Um, but it still hasn't played out yet. But this is what happens if we keep showing like this bearish side, and especially if we break like 700 at the same time, and we continue to, like, let's say consolidate, and then we break. What this week? Yeah, we can finish this week on the inside, and then we like to say the next week we break up to the outside, and we break above like this high. We can break past this, get past 750, so all new highs. Nice little run. I'm going back to SPY. I'm gonna ask Coach next. Mm-mm. Like, what are the hot contracts? Yeah, can't spell. See what he say. Time is it? We got 1 minute to 15-minute closes. Looks like price. Like we hit this little kind of like sweeping liquidity right here. Let's see. I'm back on SPY. Now 45. All right, here we go. I'm going to mark out this low, mark out this high. Well, this indicator though, the highs already marked up for this 15-minute time frame. And so whether we get the break low, that's all entering, like shorts, and that's when I'll start to target the 625, or then going all the way down to like there's a gap we had to fill kind of. Let's see, like right here, we have this little gap right here, or if we break this high above 627, 627.87, that's why I'm entering long. You can do this on a smaller time frame, but I don't like to risk it like that, especially if I can't like fully pay attention to it. You know, let's say if I got off stream or whatever, or like I got other stuff to do, it get kind of tricky. Oh yeah, we're starting to break down a little bit. My bad. Here you go. I should show you guys earlier. But this, I was asking like, what are the high contracts to Coach Next? This was like my trading assistant, and it's like SPY 625, 731 expiration. That's a bearish tone. Watch for downside move towards 625. The SPY weakness is increased on volume. And got SPY 620 puts. Yeah, associated by hedging the upcoming correction or volatility. These contracts suggest a cautious sentiment over the next few weeks. It's like flow on is an immediate action signal, but this bearish flow is a heads up to validate with price action. Check your SPY strat setups for potential levels for 625 for confirmation before continuing. Thank you, Marcel. Thank you, Coach Next. I'm not just saying this because I built this, but it does help. And going back to SPY, 731. That's about 2 weeks out. Yeah. Which is that's not super surprising, just because we've been pushing pretty high. We've been pushing all time highs like last couple weeks. So I'm gonna be nothing to. That's basically saying I will fill this gap fill this gap, and then let's say even to going back to 620. Like that's not a significant move like that for real. This is the 5 minute time frame. So we actually hit this low. Excuse me. We actually hit this three and a three. Sorry, I was burping. But a three is when we go outside the high and below the low of the previous candle. But it's usually it can be a sign of a reversal. Not all the time, but it can be very much a sign of a reversal. So we're just gonna sit and watch and wait. The thing about trading, I feel like people think that you have to like jump in every single trade, and you don't. Like, these last few weeks, I haven't been trading as much. I mean, granted, I've been working on Coach Next or whatever, I'm just busy. But you want to make sure you have the right setup. It's about risk management and approaching it the right way. Because you can jump in about 35 different trades and they all be trash setups, and you just lose your money at that point. Versus like you pick and choose, be selective when you get into trades. Like you don't have to rush it. There's another, always gonna be another trade coming. Now I'm gonna show you guys that the option I was talking about. Well, I like to do. I like to add it to my watch list. Oh, this thing is expensive, boy. That's what it's talking about. SPY 625, 731. Open interest about 6,000. Oh, these are calls. My bad. Tripping. Puts. There you go. 731 puts. 625, 731 puts. And then it's 620. This is if we start to break this. Check out Apple real quick. I feel like it's brewing. It could potentially break out. Um, it has a little bearish tone to it, just because of like, all right, we hit some resistance, and it's still like holding this level. We see kind of like wicking off this area right here, right here. It's kind of mixed right now. I feel like it's still kind of waiting for a direction. I don't love Apple chart. Like I played this little breakout that we had because we had this this like this triangle, like this wedge we was in. and then broke out to the upside. It's coming back. It came back in a little bit, but I'm not in love with Apple right now. If we like stay and hold above 215, then yeah, like I would definitely consider getting into it. That's really like right above here, breaking above kind of like this resistance level that we having. We break above like 215. It's easy to go to 220, 225. But I tell you one thing, Apple don't get themselves together, then the next year and a half and get replaced. I mean, that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm at a hype up. I'm about to take me a little break. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Definitely follow me. And if you want to hit me up, you can join my Discord. It's free. You try out Coach Connect, see how you like it. But yeah, I go live several times a week, so I try to. And then we kind of hold like an open Zoom call on Thursdays. So thank you guys for tuning in. Y'all have a good day.